Crime is getting way worse in Canada, and unusually it's happening almost everywhere. Usually crime waves come in little eruptions, a bunch of gang violence in Toronto or a spate of bank robberies in Vancouver. But this is everywhere. Newfoundland, rural Saskatchewan, the Arctic, urban Quebec. Crime, and particularly violent crime, is getting noticeably worse in every province and every time zone. And the cause is pretty well known. Because the crime isn't being caused by all that many people. Even in major cities, you'll have a couple hundred super prolific offenders responsible for many, if not most, of the arrests and 911 calls. Here's 2022 data from British Columbia showing that just 204 guys, and they're basically all guys, were responsible for more than 11,000 police contacts. And then there's this statement by International Downtown Association Canada saying that repeat offenders are basically destroying Canadian downtowns. So why don't we just take these few hundred prolific offenders and put them in jail? We do! That's much of what police are doing these days, but then they're released. They're either given bail or they're given early release after really short prison sentences. Here's a microcosm of what that looks like. This BC man has basically been committing crimes his whole life. 25 convictions, 22 charges for breaches of parole, so he's being sentenced for his most recent crime spree, a months-long odyssey of car thefts, break-ins, identity fraud. When he's caught, he has a loaded gun on him. But Canadian law requires that judges consider the background of offenders and go easy on so-called marginalized groups. Well, Abbas is Arab, he has anxiety, he has a drug problem, and his parents are Muslim. At a sentencing hearing, everyone, including the prosecutor, agrees that this all probably caused him to become a criminal, and thus all the criminality isn't really his fault. Thus, for his latest spree of stealing 4 cars, committing repeated break-ins, and carrying around an illegal gun, the Crown is only asking for 2 years and the defense is asking for 1, both of which would almost certainly result in early release, even though, as mentioned, he doesn't really listen to parole conditions.